All right, good morning, everybody. So we finally got it. We got the Fed announcing the taper. So in this morning's video, we're going to go over some of what Powell said, what it can mean for the markets coming up, and what we can expect, where we can look for some plays. Just bear with me for one moment as I get the last few minutes or few things here touched up, and we'll be rocking and rolling. All right, so let's just real quick, as we are seeing the yen pairs come off, and yesterday, absolutely, the S&P 500 just took off to the upside after the announcement. Bitcoin did the same. Bitcoin threw a nasty wick to the downside, liquidating all the longs that got long, say, this weekend. I'm pretty sure those are all liquidated, and now we're seeing the move to the downside. So we're going to keep an eye on everything and see how the markets take this first initial shock of the announcement is usually sometime you don't want to be in the markets or trying to trade the markets unless you see a quick setup. As soon as you get your profits, you want to hit that take profit, move your stop to break even, because generally the first day is just it's going to be a crazy move. You won't start seeing the markets react in the real way until days later. So just bear with me one moment as I pull this up. I just have a few bullet points that I want to talk about, or just at least make you aware of if nobody hasn't. So, inflation levels are elevated on transitory factors. We all know that the transitory word does not apply to inflation. For some reason, the Fed thinks it does, but we know that it doesn't. The path of the economy will be determined by the virus. Okay, that's fair enough, but I'm pretty sure that's already done all the damage. Unless people start shutting down economies and stuff again, that would probably not be good for anybody if that were to occur. But he did announce taper. While tapering, the Fed will continue to provide strong support to the economy. So basically, the best way I could describe taper is, I guess I heard it best yesterday. Some other guy described it. If you're driving down the road in a car and you're accelerating, taper just means you're letting off the accelerator. A rate hike would mean that you hit the brake very hard and then you throw the car in reverse. So taper just means you're letting off the gas, letting off the accelerator. So this taper just essentially means that they're going to slow down the amount of inflows going into the bond buyback, all those purchases, right? Instead of spending, say, $20 billion a day, they're going to do, and they're going to back off as long as the markets don't crash. He did specifically say in the announcement during the presser that they did not want to spook the markets. Real GDP growth has slowed notably. Economic growth should build momentum as COVID subsides. These are all bullet points. The rate of the job growth has slowed. Employers are finding it difficult to fill jobs. Supply and demand imbalances have contributed to a sizable price increase. Bottlenecks are longer lasting than previously expected. And there's more. I mean, inflation is running well above the Fed's longer term goal of 2%. Yes, it is well above their longer term goal. They don't like that. It is difficult to predict future of supply issues on inflation. Timing remains uncertain. So the only thing that I can explain as far as why is the S&P 500 rocking and rolling is because it's hard to say, right? But we've been talking on this channel about getting short these yen pairs. So we'll go look at a few yen pairs real quick and then we'll discuss these. So here's Aussie yen. Nice little move to the upside yesterday, coming into an old level of supply. That's where it found resistance. You are seeing this move lower. So basically what you're going to want to do is you're going to watch these things around their opens, their daily opens, because basically that's going to dictate whether or not the asset stays green or red, right? It's that simple. There's your daily open on the Aussie yen right there at 84.934. You're going to want to watch around this area. If price does get a spike up into this hourly Heath level there, or even up into the daily open or this hourly resistance, those are three good places to look for possible entries. Good morning, good morning. Had them in 1 inch. Yeah, we'll get to the cryptos and stuff, guys. I just wanted to get the main Fed stuff out of the way because it's important, right? He announced taper, and a lot of people are assuming that's going to be bullish for Bitcoin. I think it could be bullish for Bitcoin, but I also think that Bitcoin is a risk-on asset, and if markets start to react as risk-off, then you will start to see possible downside on Bitcoin. And let's hear. So Swiss franc, Japanese yen, this is one where I was talking, we might be able to see a possible opportunity on this one. I really don't like trading the Swiss franc versus the Japanese yen, especially if we're starting to see yen strength, because chances are you're going to see Swissy strength as well. So here's Aussie Swiss. You can see that the Swiss franc is actually, at this point in time, a little bit stronger than the Japanese yen. So that could affect any near-term shorts. Here's a nice little push to the downside, and you're coming back up to find resistance. Keep an eye on Swiss franc. The only reason I'm saying look for this possible entries on this one is because if you look over here, you can see that it's only down 0.04%, whereas NZD yen is down almost 0.38%, 0.31% for the Aussie, 0.36% for the pound. So if there's going to be an opportunity, you might be able to find it in something that hasn't moved quite as much or has pulled back a little bit for us to actually gain entry. You think it's time to take some profits off the table from stocks, e.g. Tesla? It's possible, right? What I'm gonna do is basically for my longer term hodls, I've already started to buy puts yesterday, not to short the market, just to protect any long-term gains, right? I'm not going in with the equal amount either, so there will be a loss, but I'm just basically trying to protect myself from now. I want to make sure that this market, I want to give it a day or two before I start really changing around any long-term positions, or a week or two, right? If the market starts to come off really, really hard in the next few days, then yeah, it might be something to look into, maybe taking profits on some of those positions. And because we don't know what's going to happen, right? Nobody knows what's going to happen. I've already gotten short pound yen, so that's a position that I've been holding. I wanted to get short Aussie yen because Aussie is a risk-off currency, or a risk-on currency. Basically what that means is if there's risk on in the markets, then Aussie will get strength. If there's a hint of risk off in the markets, then the Aussie will fall. And obviously, the Japanese yen being a risk off asset, if risk off is in the market, Japanese yen gains strength. So you got the inherent weakness from Aussie being a risk on currency, and then you get the strength from the Japanese yen being a risk off currency, which makes the Aussie yen my favorite trade for any possible downside risk, right? So this is when I tried to get short. Last week, I got burned on it twice. You can see how it was just absolutely choppy and untradeable. There were levels to watch. Here, you notice you got an hourly close above and then not quite a bearish reversal. The very next hourly showed that, but at this point, it was already too late. This would have been your entry. That was at 2100 hours. That's not when I trade. I trade during the New York Open, right? It's the only time I look for entries. I have taken entries during the Asian sessions, but mostly I try to avoid that because you do get a lot of false signals. As the 5 o'clock p.m. is when these candles open. So if it's going to be a down day, generally you'll see that little up move that creates the upper portion of your candle. And then throughout the end of the Asian session coming into the London session, you'll see an expansion to the downside. So this is basically what you got, right? 5 o'clock is 1700 hours right here, this red candle. So this is your daily open. You can see how for 3-4 hours price traded up during the Asian session, put in the high of the day, and then coming into the London session, just boom, down. This was the move that I was trying to catch. I missed it. I was just too early. Here, got stopped out. Here, got stopped out. So that's how it happens, right? It's impossible to know exactly what's going to happen. I knew what I wanted to happen. I knew what I was looking for to happen, right? But I'm not always right. So this is why we protect ourselves with stop losses. But yeah, it's moving along now. Is there going to be potential entries days to come? Absolutely. This is just getting started. It's been a very slow week inside of the Discord and in other places because I just didn't want to take many positions ahead of this announcement. I kind of figured they were going to taper. That was the consensus from everywhere else. But as you could see yesterday, when the announcement was made, the S&P 500 shot up. You know what I mean? Bitcoin threw a wick to the downside and then shot up. Aussie yen or USD JPY, same thing. Big move to the upside. Then it came down. Then it's back up. So that's what you're going to get in the beginning portions of this. As portfolios are going to be making adjustments for the days to come, you're going to see some whipsaw action. But I know that I am looking for shorts. I do have a single position on pound yen right now. That position is up over here, right? So we'll see what happens. This thing is starting to see some red now. I was getting a little bit concerned with yesterday. I don't believe I'm short there. I think it's on this one, but I could be wrong. I don't have the broker page pulled up right now. I got the paper trading account pulled up, basically just playing around with the SP 500. So here's what I'm looking at on the S&P 500 intraday. I'll walk you through this real quick. So basically, this is the move that we've seen, right? This explosive move to the upside. This is basically just stopping out any shorts, right? People were short yesterday going into the presser. The reason for this is simply because A, they think that the Fed is going to announce taper. B, if the Fed announced taper, that's going to cause some downside on risk on assets. So people yesterday trying to short these peaks, right? Here and in here and here and here. So they were trying to get ahead of the announcement. It's impossible to do. This is what happens. Boom, straight move to the upside. I mean, you barely got to move down. Generally, these things I've seen most of the time, you'll get a wick down to stop out the lowest portion of the day. So like take out the low a day and then boom, move to the up, take out the high a day. So you're seeing this squeeze. Now anybody that shorted the peak last night that's not patient enough, they short these peaks, right? And then the Asian session happens, and then the London session happens, and then the price trades up and stops out anybody that got short last night at the highs. When did I get short? Just a minute ago. I threw out this limit order right here, right below this 5-minute Heath level. I seen this bearish reaction. That's good enough for me. Right here is what I'm looking at. This section right there. So I didn't put my limit sell right at the Heath level, the 5-minute Heath level. I put it a little bit below it simply because of the spread. Now on this, since it's a paper account, there is no spread, but in reality there is, right? In reality. So you can see that this price has traded up, closed right on, like right there where my limit order was. Also, my limit order was dead even with these two candles closes, and this candle's closed, this candle's open. That's where this candle stopped. This 5-minute candle wicked up into your 5-minute Heath level. That's where I wanted to get short through a stop loss well above the high because I don't know if it's going to work. I never do. But that's what I'd be looking for, knowing that the Fed has announced taper, not trying to jump the gun. And that's probably pretty close to as good as a position as you're going to get. There's no way to get in this high without just blindly gambling and throwing a sell at what you think is the high. Why not let the market show you what the high is? And then on the retest of that, that's when you look for your entry. That's the safest way to do it. That's the way I do it. That's the way you should do it. Instead of just blindly throwing out a sell trying to pick a top. It's impossible. This is all-time highs. There is no resistance levels up, right? The only thing that's resistance is what the market's making now. This is where your resistance and support will start to be found. So we're going to keep an eye on this. Like I said today, if we keep seeing some downside, I might buy some puts on the S&P 500, but this will be more or less for like a day trade. I'm obviously going to be looking to put some risk on, or on the yen pairs or the Swiss franc pairs if I can get an entry. Euro USD's already fallen down pretty hard, so there's no real entry here. This is a 5-minute chart. Here's your announcement. Initial move up because the dollar took a hit, right? And then now you're seeing the real move. Euro USD is coming off pretty good. Here's your day right here. You've already got a bearish engulfing. So finding an order or an entry on something like this that's already made its move, you're into daily support as well. So I can't look for entries here, right? We have to look for entries elsewhere, something that makes sense. This doesn't make sense. Also got daily support down there. Now, once we break down below that, we can absolutely see some more downside. Let's get out here to a weekly. You've got this massive range right here that we can slice through. Weekly supports all the way down there. You got these older levels here that could potentially act as support, but you get what I'm trying to say, right? If we lose this, last week we closed weekly below support. This week, initial move to the upside. There's your weekly Heath level. If you're looking to get short, that's where you're looking to get short, right? We've been over this a million times on this channel. Here it is, though. You're looking to get short in a move that was exhausted to the downside. So here's your RSI on the weekly. Not quite oversold, but it is on the daily. It's been down there for a long time. You've even bounced up. So, yeah, this thing came up into the 50 region, traded sideways, chopping everybody up. Now you have enough room on your RSI to see some downside. So we will be looking for short side entries on the euro, just not today, I don't think, right? Just not today. Pound USD, let's go into here, seeing a down day as well. Nice big bullish day yesterday. Is it possible that these things find support down here and today's just an initial support run and then we see bullish reaction? Well, we know the Fed's going to taper. We know it, right? The Fed is basically telling everybody what they've been doing every step of the way. People trying to short the S&P 500 because it's in a bubble. The Fed was telling you to buy it. Now the Fed's not, right? Fed's not saying buy it anymore. So just keep an eye on it. I will be looking for shorts on these assets until I get proven wrong. And the way to get proven wrong is to eat a few stops to the downside and see price react bullishly. This is an overall bearish move. Yesterday could be looked at as simply nothing more than a pullback. Yes, it is a very strong daily candle, but you're in an overall daily downtrend. Here's your daily high. Here was your daily low, right? Taking out this low. So that's a lower low right there. Here is your lower high. There is your lower low. So you have started your lower high, lower low sequence on the daily, indicating a daily downtrend has just gotten started. All over this back in here, yeah, it already got started a while back, right? But this is one of the assets that I did like the most to short for this taper announcement, simply because it's off the lows higher than the euro is. The euro's down here at lows. This pulled back nicely. I just was not able to get positioned, right? It was difficult trading this. This right here, this day traded all the way up to beyond this bullish day's close. And then you fell back. So it was just difficult trading. I didn't take any entries during then. I found entry on pound yen, right? So this one looks a lot better also, right? And we can throw a trend line on this and it looks absolutely flawless. So basically, I'm not going to look to exit my short on pound yen unless we take out this trend line. And it's that simple. I did take a quick position on this yesterday, just playing around in the announcement. But like I said, this is the paper account. I did not take any trades on my real accounts yesterday. So just making that clear. That's just playing around. But we'll keep an eye on this and everything else. Let's go look at Bitcoin. Bitcoin's seeing a little bit of a down day. Now, this is hard to look at, but just see here. You have this pitchfork that I took. It's been a while back. And I basically attached it to this low, this swing high here, and then that swing low. This is the August 5th, 2021 candle. The high is September 6th, and the low is September 21st. Basically and if I put the log on, it's important to understand that, because if you take the log off, then it doesn't look as good. But you can see how this basically is the slope that Bitcoin has been following. When it came down into here, you were just too deep, right? That's your median point, and you found a bullish bounce. 3 days of bearishness and then another bullish day, but I don't like the reaction we're seeing here. So let's get rid of all this and start all over. So we are in an uptrend, right? It isn't an uptrend. It's not showing us massive weak signs either. So we'll have to see. Bitcoin's different than other risk assets. We know that for a fact because of the halving and stuff like that. So Bitcoin's different, as people are going to dive into Bitcoin because of the inflation risks out there. Who am I to say no, right? It's possible. And if it were to happen, if big firms were to look at Bitcoin as a safe haven asset, Bitcoin's going to go to the sky, all the way to the moon, for sure. Here is the daily ETH level. This is where you would be looking for longs if you were bullish, right? Daily demand. This is how good these levels work. Right there's an hourly test of it. Will this level hold moving into today? I don't know. This right here should have indicated like we're stopping all the longs out. Now we're going to run higher, right? But that's not what's happening. You stopped out all the longs, but now you are unable to close another hourly candle above that candle. That's important. If you cannot close above this candle is resistance, and you're starting to get lower closes, that's not good. That means price is heading lower. So we will see if it finds support right here. The open of the day is right there. So I'll just bring this down. There's our daily open. So this is Bitcoin's daily range, or the range that we have right now. This is going to be your high of day. No, this is going to be your high of day. This is going to be the low of day. This is yesterday's low. So, I mean, if it keeps going lower, it's going to look to me like that's the target. There is support down there, and Bitcoin has been doing crazy stuff in this area, right? This has been difficult trading. This was a liquidation wick to the downside, taking out any longs. I mean, yeah. Difficult trading, sideways at best, with long, nasty, terrible wicks. We need to break out of this region. We did get that, right? Let me show you what I'm in. Here we go. Right there is what I was looking at. Wanted to get a breakout. We did. Closed an hourly above it, and then we fell right back down into the range. So, I don't know, right? Can you throw a trend line on those two wicks? Yeah, it's possible. I'm sure somebody out there has done it. We'll keep an eye on it. Let's see what it looks like. It looks like we can get one from all the way down here. I don't like it. Not really. And I mean, wicks is what I use to anchor trend lines, though. But this is just not really digging it so much. But this is the high. This is the swing high that we got to get above. As of right now, the only thing that you can say about, you can't say Bitcoin's weak. It's in a range. That's it. It's as simple as it gets. And it's been trading in a range for multiple days. Here's your daily chart, right? Somebody called, I don't even know what kind of pattern somebody called this. I seen on Twitter, but it did look like it reacted bullishly. But what we should have seen was a bullish reaction. Remember the last live stream I said I'm not looking at this level as resistance because this was a bull trap and then you had downside. I said I'm going to be watching this area here instead as resistance, and you can see that's what caught price right there. Boom. Then you've seen that downside. So, yeah, we'll keep an eye on it. But 64,303.14, gotta get a daily close above that. Otherwise, it's just nothing. It's just nothing. We need to get a daily close above that. We do not want to see this daily support down here get beaten. Otherwise, then you're going to be looking for support down here, $58,000. Now, we did never test this level, but that was pretty close, right? Pretty close. But now the moving averages have caught up to Bitcoin. So the moving averages have caught up. So as long as you're trading above your daily 21, guys, you're in good shape. There's no need to sweat Bitcoin. When do you start worrying about Bitcoin? If you take out 57,487 to the downside, then it might be time to start looking about maybe taking some profits depending on where you are depending on what your outlook is. If you're long-term bullish like me and you're only buying Bitcoin, then I am not exiting any of mine. Not exiting any of mine. Bitcoin could literally go to zero. I do not care, right? I will just buy more the lower it goes. I do believe it's going to be much, much higher in the next 10 to 15 years, and that's how far down the road I'm looking. This move has already exhausted itself, in my opinion. Is it possible to get a massive bullish breakout and see, $150,000, $200,000? Yeah, it is absolutely possible. There's a lot of shorts piled up above this swing right here. It's your last swing high. And especially with the taper out there, people are going to be looking to short Bitcoin. So keep an eye out. I'm not looking to short it, not yet. I'll let you know when I'm starting to short this thing. This thing can absolutely take off to the upside and rip everybody's faces off. Still, right? So can the S&P 500, guys. Right? So just be careful. Let's go look at Ethereum, and then I'll start answering some questions. There we go. It's only down 1% on the day. And Ethereum got a new all-time high yesterday. Fantastic. Broke out above old all-time high here. There's your daily pullback. Found support. Where did you find support? Close to daily ETH level there. Boom. There's your bullish move to the upside. New all-time high. Yesterday seen bullish continuation of that. And today you're seeing a pullback. Right? You're seeing a pullback. So as long as you're not taking out that low, I think you're in good shape. And there is support even down below that low at $4,417. This is your old all-time high. It's possible to find support there as well. Would I be buying Ethereum right here, looking for another 100,000x gain? No, absolutely not. You're in all-time highs. I know the everybody on crypto Twitter is calling $10,000 Ethereum by December. Well, that's up here. Is it possible to get there? Yes, it is. Do I think it's going to get there? No, I don't. But that's just my opinion. My opinion doesn't count for anything. Doesn't count for anything. Right? Opinions are like, everybody's got one. So, yeah, it can go up there. It'd be easily. I just don't know if it will, right? I'm not going to buy it. I own Ethereum way lower. So I'm hodling Ethereum just like I am Bitcoin. It looks good. Ethereum looks good. Ethereum's already moved to new all-time highs, and you're seeing a bullish trend, right? This is a bullish trend. So Ethereum looks good. We want to see it keep this little trend going here that it's got. Absolutely looks fabulous. I just do not like to buy tops, or highs, I should say, because it doesn't mean that this is the top. I just don't like buying highs. Another one that's hot right now is DOT. Where are you, DOT? There you are. It's got getting ready to have an auction, and people are looking for they're looking for the float to get locked up, right? And if the float gets locked up, then they're expecting this thing to run. So there's your old all-time high, and it broke it, right? But you've lost your support there. So you don't want to lose the midpoint of this daily range. If you do, you're probably going all the way back down to this day's open at $1 and roughly 40 cents. So we'll keep an eye on it. It did have a nice run. Absolutely. But trying to buy it now is risky at the very least. All right. Good morning. What is it? The video quality is excellent. Oh, thank you, Tom. That's good. His channel has been plagued with issues since the very start of it. All right, let me see here. Somebody was asking. Oh, let's go look at Tesla real quick. Mr. Jeeth. Nope, we're going to go to the red list. At all-time highs. Man, that thing made a run, didn't it? Intraday, I mean, it's still a bit early for pre-market trading, but as of right now, it's sitting right at the close. Yesterday's close. So, I mean, I don't know. This is one of those things, right? Tesla's killing it. They're crushing it on earnings. They keep raising everything. Their deliveries are getting better. Everything is just working out perfect for Tesla. It's a sticky situation. I'm a long-term hodler on Tesla as well. So I'm not really too concerned about it right now. Obviously, I'll look like an idiot if it comes off. I'm not looking for the markets to crash. Even though he said taper, I'm just looking for a little bit of downside and maybe some choppy stuff coming out. Now it's going to be the time for the trader. The trend traders, the people that just buy long and set and hold those positions, now they're going to be tested. I think we're going to see some choppy price action from here on out as markets go into a little bit of, uncertainty because of the inflation risk. That's what everything is worried about right now. So we'll keep an eye on it. I guess basically what you can do, it's simple. You can set a simple strategy for long-term hodls. Like on the weekly chart, for instance, you can be like, yeah, if we close the weekly below the 21 exponential moving average, I want to exit my long positions and then maybe look to buy lower at, say, the 200 on the weekly if it ever gets there, right? Tesla hasn't tested its 200 weekly since the initial breakout, since the first breakout, right? Oh, wait, no, this is down here. Sorry, I was wondering what was going on. No, this is right. This is right. I'm right. This was when price was trading slap back and forth around 279 down to 120. Had nice tradable ranges, but once it broke out, it was all said and done, right? Boom. See ya. And it's been on a one-sided run since. That's the last time it was around or at its weekly 200. You can clearly see that since the bullish trend started, these are weeklies, there's not been nothing even close to coming into a weekly test of the 200. So maybe watch the 50 on the weekly or the 21, depending on where it all depends on where you bought it, right? If you bought it higher than the weekly 21, then yeah, absolutely, I'd take profits. Absolutely. If you bought it down here, then no, I think you're fine. Right? But this is also a good gauge for newer traders to look for entries, is around the weekly 21 on stocks or cryptos. That gets you positioned pretty decently instead of trying to buy and chase tops. Let's see where Bitcoin is. I haven't looked at Bitcoin and its moving averages in a minute. So here's your weekly 21 on Bitcoin. So technically, dude, Bitcoin could come all the way down to $50,000 and still remain bullish, right? Because your 21 on the weekly's down there. It's insane. That was last 3 weeks have been choppy, but the 3 weeks prior to that was going straight up. Boom, boom, boom. So I am looking for this. It does look bullish to me. I think Bitcoin's going to break out to the upside. I just don't see it stalling out here. Yeah, but I've been wrong before, guys. And then what was the other one? There it is, Atom in 1 inch. So Atom has been on my watch list, but I just haven't been able to get into a position. Let's go look at it on KuCoin. Haven't been able to get into a position. It's been chopping around sideways. So 3 weeks of pullback. We broke out of this trend line. Let's go to the daily. Show you what I'm looking at. So I had something like this, right? And then I was trying to break out so hard, and this was a very choppy time. There's your breakout. Boom. But then you came straight back in for a retest the very next day. That's essentially an outside day range candle. Even if you didn't take out the high, you touched it and then went down and took out the low. So that's never really good. But it's trading sideways and it's holding daily support at $36.71. This bearish candle right there, that support. Let's get rid of this one so it's not confuse nobody. Damn it. That did not work. Here we go. So right here is your support on this daily. And you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 tests. Makes it difficult for entries. Yesterday, nice bullish pop. And then now you're coming off a bit. So, I mean, if I was going to look for bullish entries, I would want to do it as close to 36.71 as possible, as that's the daily support. You have hourly support much lower. But if we get down below that daily support, like on a 4-hour closing basis, then I'm not looking for longs. This thing should not go no lower than your 4-hour ETH level right there. Because you broke out. You closed above. You had continuation. Here is the resistance. Right there. On the 4-hour chart. Right there. You broke out. So this should be a retest. If you put your fibs on there. Here's a fib retracement. Boom. Here's your price leg. If you're following this leg of price from swing low to swing high, 618 retracement is roughly around, well, it's at $36.9376. Just a little bit above that 4-hour ETH level. So I do not want to see a 4-hour closure below that level. If you get one, you're going to have to wait. You're going to have to wait because chances are it's coming down here to test this 4-hour support at 35.27. But as long as it maintains closing 4 hours above this, you're still looking okay for a possible second extension of price to the upside. Measured move puts it around $40, right? And look there, you have a 4-hour resistance level right there as well. That's where I would probably be looking to take profits if I was looking to trade that second impulse move to the upside. So this would be my target, right? If it finds support here, boom, target there. But yeah, we'll see. Keep an eye on it. Watch that price, 36.9376. Let's just call it 36.93. If you round it up, 36.94. And then what was your other one? Your other one was 1 inch. Nice big bullish pop to the upside, and it got almost entirely sold off. Is this all-time highs? Nope. Tis not. There's your all-time high. That's a big nasty wick to the upside. So yeah, I mean, is it still structured bullish on the daily? It is, right? There's your 21 exponential moving average, caressing price to the upside. Looks good, looks bullish. How about your RSI? Perfect. You're coming in back for another run. So if this thing does find support, look for support at the 21 exponential moving average. You can look for support there. But I am a price action guy. I like to find support by price. $4.16 looks like the very first place where that support can happen. Now, this bearish candle, if you don't close lower than this yesterday's close today, this can be support. All right? You don't want to use that as support because you've already broken it. We're looking for supports that have been yet to be tested or unbroken. So it doesn't matter how low this thing trades today. If it closes back above yesterday's close, then there's a chance that it's found support there. But since it's trading below it right now, I would probably look for this area down here. Also, that gets you underneath this swing low. So that's probably where I'd be looking for it to find support. If it does find support there, that's where I'd be looking to be a possible buy. I don't know anything about it. You know what I mean? I know that this cycle is getting pretty extended. It's getting long in the tooth. If Bitcoin starts to fall, a lot of these things are going to go with it. A lot of them. If we go to the BLX index real quick, you can see that basically December's called the both of last peak cycles, the cycle tops, right? Cycle top, December 1st, 2013. That was the bullish phase. That was the top of the cycle. That marked the end of the bullish phase of that market cycle. Basically, you were trading down to sideways until your next halving event. Once you got your next halving event, broke off to a new bullish market phase. Boom, December the 1st, 2017, called the top in that one as well. Then you traded lower for a long time, traded low down to sideways until your next halving event, and then boom, you're seeing more bullish continuation. So I have it marked right here, December 1, 2021. Is that going to mark the top? We don't know, right? Nobody knows what's going to happen. I just screwed that up. Nobody knows what's going to happen, guys. Nobody. We have modeling and we have all this stuff that can help us, but we don't know. But what we do know is that the last two the bullish market cycles, December called the tops in both of them. Knowing that information, we can go back over here to Mr. KuCoin, right? And we can look at stuff like 1 inch and say, well, it is November the 4th, December's next month, right? So if anything, you may get some more bullishness for the rest of the month, but I wouldn't be looking to put on new long-term hodls from now until the end of this bullish phase. I just wouldn't be. The risk is to, in my opinion, now getting close to December, possibly the downside. And with the taper news, we'll see what happens. I'm not foretelling Bitcoin's demise. I am bullish Bitcoin. I only buy it. When I'm shorting Bitcoin, I'm doing that on an inverse swap contract with Bitcoin to stack more Bitcoin. So I love Bitcoin and I'm a buyer of it. But it does work out to be like bullish in phases. And we're getting close to the end of a possible end of the phase. So just be careful putting on new risks to the upside on cryptos. Good morning. Beautiful morning, Heath and fam. What's happening, Mr. Giles? Welcome. Thank you for being here, my friend. Thank you. And then Tom saying, FYI, the audio video quality is excellent and high def. Thank you very much, Tom. That's awesome. Bitcoin is just recovering yesterday's wick, then will pump. New moon today, says Brian. Hopefully. Will taper be bad for Bitcoin and stocks? We don't know yet. It's too early to know. I don't think so much the taper is what's going to hurt them with the Fed pulling back the stimulus or with the purchasing and also threats of, that's what they're more concerned about, right? Not so much the taper. It's kind of the inflation. That's what everyone's concerned about. So the Fed has to taper to curb inflation. If the Fed keeps going the way they're going right now and just pumping assets, then eventually it's going to take a wheelbarrow full of dollars to buy a gallon of milk. And we don't want that because here in America, minimum wage is $7 an hour. Too much in hyperinflation, the poor people do. When your rent goes from, say, $1,500 a month to $50,000 a month, when you only make $15,000 a year, you're kind of screwed. So yeah, that's what the Fed is worried about, inflation. They're saying it's transitory and they're acting like they're not scared, but it went all the way up to 5. That's the highest print that it's seen in a long time. So it is very much here. So that's what the markets are concerned about. Equities hissy fit coming up, then announcement by Fed that tapering will be delayed. At least have seen some sort of tape many times before. Yeah, this is all true, guys, right? This is all true. But remember, inflation. Inflation, that's the important one. The taper is to curb inflation. That's what they're... So will they let the S&P 500 fall a little bit to try to get inflation under control? Absolutely they will. That's why they're announcing it. Taper. Right? Is it possible that they try to taper and just can't because they've blowed the balloon, so to speak, up too much and now they must keep putting air in it? That's also possible. And my word, I hope that's not what's going on. Because nobody will enjoy that. You're talking about complete and utter collapse of the world. That's not going to be fun or good. EGLD discovery, and I like it. Let's go look at EGLD. Elrond. EGLD, not ELGD. You didn't say where you wanted it with USD or USDT. So we'll go look at it versus or on KuCoin, because that's where I'm trading. It is moving to the upside. Nice. Took out that high. Fantastic. Big strong day yesterday. Today you are in fact taking out your time high, all-time high. Fantastic stuff. See, here's a perfect example of sometimes, supply doesn't work. That's why you don't just blindly short these areas. This day blasted right through that. But let's see if it stutter stepped on the hourly. It did. It did right there. First a wick, then a rejection. And then, yeah. So it did stutter step a bit. But there you go. Boom, boom. You're out of there. It's looking good. There's nothing to do on it. I wouldn't be looking for new buys. Is it? I mean, if it starts to do a short squeeze, you can look for long scalps possibly. But you're just basically buying momentum at that time. So just be careful. Not really a whole lot of places to put risk or where you're going to risk. Just be careful. This would have been an opportunity to do something like that, aiming for that high. But as far as since you've taken that out, that was the trade. That's the way I trade, right? I would have been looking for that high. It's too late. If you're in it long, stay with it. I think you're in good shape. Let me go scroll out real quick because I know I missed a couple. Equities. Link USD. Stinky Linky. What's Link doing this morning? Coming off a bit. It looks exactly like Bitcoin. Yesterday had a wick to the downside and then you're heading lower. There is a slight bit of a bullish trend here that's still intact. So I'd be kind of keeping my eye on, that's the wrong one. I'd kind of be keeping my eye on something like that, right? If you get a break and close down below that, then I'd probably be looking to see what happens around 31.67. If that area acts as resistance, that's where I'd be looking to throw the risk on to the downside. But it's above the 21. Moving averages are sprawled out nicely. You're above the 50. You're not looking for shorts. The way when I start looking for shorts is once we get a close below the 21. Because that means your lower high, lower low sequence has already taken place on the daily. I don't look at moving averages on any other time frame, only the daily. And I don't look at the RSI on any other time frame, only the daily. So, yeah, once you take that out to the downside with a close on a daily, that pretty much means that you've already had a lower high, lower low sequence in place on the daily, and now you're trying to find momentum to the downside. Doesn't always work, though, but that's the safest way I've found to short bullish assets. But, yeah, you found resistance at supply. It's as simple as that, and you've not been able to get a daily close above it. Here, 32.38. Test. Now you're seeing the sell side come in. So it needs to hold above this, and then your support's going to be right around the 21 EMA. So you could possibly look for a bounce play there. I'd say at 29.78 you get at least a bounce if it gets down there. I don't know that it will. But if it does, boom, you got trendline confluence. You got 21 EMA confluence. You got candlestick support. 3 ranges of confluence around $29.78. I'd say it's a pretty safe bet for a nice little bounce at that spot. Good morning, Nick. Good morning, my friend. Well, I answered that question. Next year is the question. The Fed is just talking still. Yeah, I mean, they are going to start tapering. They've mentioned it. They've said it. They've come out and said it. Is it going to start yet right now? No. Right? Not yet. I'm not saying it's time to get bearish on anything. I'm just telling you guys what I'm doing. Right? And I can be wrong. I can be wrong. I do get stopped out of trades. It does happen. Equities, yep. Hissy Fit link. All right, read that. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Cassidy. Jimenez, Heath, you know you can delete lines by clicking in the middle wheel of your mouse. I've been using this platform for 15 years. Thank you, Jimenez. No, I did not know that. Nice. That's fantastic. See, we're always learning, guys. All of us. Thank you, sir. Read that. What are your top predictions for Bitcoin and ETH? My top predictions. Bitcoin looks good anywhere to $85,000 in my opinion. Right? Your measured move puts you at around $100,000 from the pullback, impulse, drop, pullback, stuff like that. You got a measured move around 85 to 100K. Anything after that it's anybody's guess. $7.5 trillion market cap. If that's what your target is, and you're looking at 400K. Am I looking for that? No, I am not. Guys, that's a big move. People are looking at it on log and seeing that it's absolutely possible for Bitcoin to hit that. Let me show you real quick something. I just want to show you, right? I'm not saying, it's my opinion. Anything can happen, but I just don't see, but on, right? So we take a measured move from the old all-time high, get us close to the high. Doesn't have to be perfect. Right there. And that, if you double this move that it's already had, right? That doesn't mean that's what's going to happen. Absolutely not. But that's how they get the calculations, and that's why people have a $400,000. I mean, think about that, man. That would be the biggest monthly candle anyone has ever seen in existence. Absolutely be the monstrosity. Now, these look bigger because it's by percent, but if that were to happen, that's a massive move. Massive move. So I'm not seeing that. I can see $100,000. Yeah. Anything after that is just a guess and a gamble. ETH can go. I don't know about ETH. ETH there's a lot of good things about ETH, right? It's a platform and stuff. I think ETH could absolutely go control. Right now, it costs too much money to transact on ETH. The normal person doesn't have, at one point it was $100 just to do something on ETH. Have that kind of money. I want to send $50 and it's going to cost me $100 to do it. Nah, it's not going to happen. But it has the potential to go to the moon, right? $10,000 isn't as much of a stretch for ETH as $400,000 is for Bitcoin. It's still up there, but right there's 10 grand. So you're not far. I mean, or 2x, to get up there. It can happen. It can happen. What about gold? Hang on, I got sidetracked because okay, I got that, get that. VET getting a DEX in a week or so should be bullish for VET. Do I have VET? Let me go look. I think I do. Yeah, it's right there. It's bullish today. It's up 4% on the day. That's a monthly. Let's go to the daily. Almost 5% on the day. It's into supply. So be careful, right? Don't look to buy right now. If you are looking to get long on VET, look to get long around 14 cents. V-chain down here. This bullish candle's oak close right there. That's where I'd look to get long. If you're looking to get long. But I would not looking to get long right now. Let's go see what kind of a reaction you're getting off of that. It's a small reaction. But yes, it could be bullish. It absolutely could be bullish. Just keep an eye on it. If it gets above that swing high, then you can look for support. But crypto trades very crazy sometimes. Right? It's kind of hard to find support and resistance levels. But you can find them on your higher time frames. But it's in an area right now. I wouldn't be looking to sell this either as a short, guys. Right? Because this move here was that you should have seen bearish continuation off of that. So anything above that bullish candle's close, is shorts are trapped. If they didn't exit their positions, they're trapped. So you can absolutely see a spike. A short squeeze. So yeah, it looks bullish, and with that news, it could be. Absolutely. I agree with Eth on Jordan's CTM side. But I see something ahead will be a bloodbath. I don't think it's going to be a bloodbath. You know what I mean? I'm not saying that. I'm just saying protect yourself, guys. There's ways to do it. If you're long stocks, if you have 1,000 shares of something, buy a couple puts, right? Buy a couple puts. You would need 5 puts. If you're long 1,000 shares, 5 puts gives you 500 shares. You know what I mean? 5 puts. And that way, if it doesn't happen, they expire worthless. Did you lose some of your profit? Yeah, you did. But were you protected if stocks go crashing down? Yeah, you are. Right? I'm not looking for all-out shorts yet. I'm just telling you to prepare. Just be careful. Protect your goals, your gains. Protect your gains. If you have them, protect them. All right, guys. Unfortunately, I'll have to log off now. But I think I pretty much got everything. Sorry, I'm in Bitcoin. Rather wait for max fear and go all in longs. I hear you. Yeah, that's the time to buy Bitcoin. Buffering bad. Sorry, my friend. All right, guys. Yeah, next 2024 is when you're looking to buy Bitcoin. Right now, you're just gonna let it do what it wants to do. You're gonna sit back and wait. And you're going to be buyers of Bitcoin around here. Boop. Right there. That little spot. Around March 25th, 2024. Anywhere from 19 to 30K. That's where you're going to look to be a buyer on Bitcoin. If it keeps repeating the process that it has been repeating, this is going to be your targeted buy area. And then I could see $400,000 Bitcoin. So with that being said, I must say, you guys, if you have any questions or comments or concerns, drop them in the question or comment section after this video gets done processing, and I will answer them. I always answer every single question. Also, make sure you trade safe, trade smart, and as always,